All right, everybody, we are going to get started now. I want to thank everyone for joining this webinar today. To introduce myself, my name is Zachary Stern. I am one of the senior account executives over here. I've been with the company a little over 2 years now. I want to say I know the tool inside and out. So while I'm going through this today, if anybody has any questions at all, please write them into the chat box that should be on your screen. I will be sure to answer them towards the end of the call. If there are too many questions for me to get around to everybody, I will absolutely catch up with you afterwards via email or phone. Basically, the purpose of this today is to touch on some of the capabilities that YCharts can do. The three main points here that I want to talk about are the automatic data entry capabilities within Excel, our modern security analysis, and some of our world-class idea generation tools. So I guess just to get started, let's start off with the idea generation tools. I'm going to head to our screener here, the equity screener in specific. We do have a fund screener as well. For the sake of functionality here, I'm going to focus on the equity screener. Basically, what you do is you can build out different screens on any of the 4,000 metrics that we cover. I have actually previously built out a few of these. You can save these and then rerun these as often as you'd like with the latest data. So one screen here that I actually wanted to show everyone today is this energy screen that I pre-built. One of the cool things about this screen, and the reason I want to share this, is it kind of embodies all of the different capabilities within the screener. You'll notice by pulling up this energy screen, it automatically pulled in all of the filters and universe intersections that I had previously done. I'm saying, hey, I want to look at all of the equities. I want to intersect that with energy. That takes us down to 1570. And then these are the three filters that I've applied. The first one here, PE ratio less than PE ratio 5-year median by at least 5%. We are talking the energy sector here, so one thing that was important to me is some sort of a debt coverage type filter. One thing that I incorporated into here is I only want to see companies whose net income, when multiplied by 5, is able to satisfy all of the long-term debt. The final constraint that I put on here is the dividend yield has to then be in the top 50% of these remaining 6 companies, which then took us down to 3. You'll notice here we were able to take 22,000 securities down to 3 in about a minute. Actually, a lot shorter than that. The reason that I chose this screen to show everyone is that very few screeners out there can actually do what we're doing here in terms of relative screening and custom arithmetic. Every single thing in here can be fully customized, whatever would make the most sense for you in terms of identifying equities that might align with your investment philosophy. Now that we've narrowed this down to 3, there's a few things you can do from this page as well. You can build out this table by adding metrics to this, or we can now kind of jump into the deep security analysis that YCharts is really good at. The way that I think would make the most sense to do this would be to simply click on one of these tickers, and it's going to take you to that company. I'm going to click on ATW, and now we're at the company quote page. Now I'm actually going to jump straight into charting here. This is where YCharts gets the name, and it's the ability to chart out and visualize all of our fundamental data. We're looking at a 1-year chart. Maybe you want to make this a 5-year chart, for example, or any custom time frame. You can do that very easily up top. What's really neat here is the same predictive search that we use in our screener can actually be used here to identify whatever metrics you would like to visualize. Let's say, for example, we wanted to see their sales. I could actually go ahead and just type in the word sales. And the system actually knows, hey, we think you're looking for revenue. That's the closest line item in our system to the buzzword that you typed in. So we can chart out revenue. We can chart out maybe something like net income. We're not just limited to financial line items. We can also do valuation ratios. We can do EV to EBITDA or PE ratios or any of these. So right now we're looking at 4 different metrics for ATW. This in itself is pretty helpful. There's not that many tools out there that are going to have this data going back as far as we do and as many metrics as we have that can visualize it. Now, looking at this is helpful. I mean, we can see where the different lines are trending. We can see where certain certain metrics fall on certain points in time. What's a little bit more helpful is to be able to compare this to another security. Now, thinking back to that screener, there were actually 3 companies that passed all those tests. So it might make sense to overlay one of those other companies here and analyze each of these metrics relative to each company. So I'm going to go ahead and add MMP, which is Magellan Midstream, which is one of the other companies here. And you'll notice it actually automatically charted out those same 4 metrics. Now, we have a panel layout feature that can break this into separate charts. Now we can actually look at one metric at a time. We're looking at price, revenue, net income, and PE ratio. We can also go ahead and normalize this in the bottom left, and this actually switches it to a percentage change, and now we can view relative growth. You can see, regardless of what the dollar values are, ATW's revenue is growing significantly faster than MMP over this 5-year range. Now, the capabilities here are pretty much endless. We have 4,000 metrics. You can chart out any combination of metrics and securities. You can overlay onto this chart any indices, any of our 400,000 economic data or economic indicators, as well as any of the 48,000 funds, mutual funds, closed-end funds, ETFs, any of those. All of this can be charted out. We're not just talking financial line items. We're talking things like rolling returns and risk metrics and all sorts of stuff. One of the nice things here is that we actually have the ability to save this as an image. So if you click the Save Image button, it actually downloads this file to your computer. One of the things that a lot of our clients have found really, really valuable and have been taking advantage of is the fact that you could actually send us a logo or a business card or anything that you would like to appear on the chart in the bottom left-hand corner. And whenever you save this as an image, it will spit out a co-branded chart with your logo as well as the YCharts logo. This can then be distributed via newsletter, website, email, really whatever kind of method you want. From a screening standpoint, this does demonstrate a lot of the overall functionality, even though there are many different kind of ways to go about it. So what I think I'd like to do next is kind of transition into the Excel add-in or automatic data entry within Excel. Now, what I'm going to do here, for those that know what an Excel add-in is, basically what it does is using a syntax guide, we can call in any data point from any security, from any metric, from any point in time, directly into Excel. This can be used to fill in templates, whether it's a client-facing spreadsheet, whether it's an internal comp table or discounted cash flow. We can fully automate all this. So one example here that I would like to share is we actually built this for one of our clients, and the client then kind of allowed us to share this on our website. But basically, this started out as a conversation where one of our clients said, I would like to create a custom tear sheet, just a one-page simple sheet. I'd like to handpick some of the metrics because some of my clients don't understand the deep technical kind of terminology and metrics that we do have in the system. So we worked with this client, and we were able to pick out about 10 or so metrics. We have dividend data and price data, some of the more basic metrics here. We built this entire file for them, and all they have to do now is in cell A1, you'll notice you can change out this ticker. So MMP again, let's do that, hit enter, and you'll notice it pulls in all the latest data and refreshes this. Now, it might be a little hard to see, so I can zoom in a little bit. But you'll notice that we can work with you to fully design this file. We can put your logo on here. We can put whatever metrics make sense. We could even put multiple lines on the chart, or maybe you want a bar chart, or really whatever you can think of. Now, again, this is just a really basic example of something that we've done, but our team will work with you to build out pretty much anything you can think of that will utilize our data as an input. Now, some of our clients have really liked building out some thorough discounted cash flows, like I mentioned. One of the more popular things that we're slowly transitioning to is portfolio analytics. Considering that we have all the data for all of the underlying securities, we can work with you to design a file that will automatically pull in all the daily prices, returns, exposures, and pretty much anything that you would like to pull into a report. Basically, I believe I've touched on everything that I kind of had on my agenda here. I would love to open up this for some questions now. So feel free to go ahead and type in any questions that you can think of, and I will 1 second, and I'm going to jump into answering those.